So, good morning students. So, welcome to business studies class. This is the 11th chapter, that is international trade. So, for you that is the 8th chapter, international trade. So, in the last class we were studying the meaning on some aspect of internal trade. So, in my previous class I said that on the basis of geographical locations, trade or the business that can be divided into two types. So, first one internal trade and second one external trade. Internal trade is also called the domestic trade, external trade is also called international trade. In the internal trade we studied the meaning of internal trade, then the types of internal trade. There are studied two types of internal trade, wholesale trade and retail trade. So, there we studied the meaning of wholesaler, meaning of wholesale trading, then services given by the wholesaler. So, then we studied the meaning of retail trader, then meaning of retail trading, then services given by the retail trader. So, then we studied the types of retail trading, the different types of retail trading. Okay. So, we will continue. It's a international trade, it is also called external trade. So, as I said, on the basis of geographical locations of buyers and sellers, the trade or business can be divided into two types. Internal trade is also called domestic trade, second one external trade is also called international trade, okay. So, in today's class we will study meaning of international trade, the reasons for international trade. So, what is the purpose of having international trade? Why should we have the international trade? Then the domestic versus international trade. That means the comparison or the difference between the domestic, that means internal, and external or international trade. So, here we have nationality of buyers and seller, nationality of stakeholders, mobility of factors of production, then customers heterogeneity in the market, difference in practicing and system, political system and risk, business regulations and policy, currency used in business, then one more concept, scope of international business. Here we have merchandise export and import, services export and import, licensing and franchising, then we have the foreign investment. There we have two types of foreign investment, direct investment and portfolio investment. Okay. Let us come to first one. So, what is the meaning of international trade? So, international trade means the trading or the business activities between two countries. If there is more than two countries, it means the trade among the countries is called international trade or the cross border trading. We studied meaning of internal trade is a trade within the geographical boundary or trade within the country. Here we are studying the meaning of international trade, its meaning is a cross border trading or the trade between two geographical boundary or trade between the countries is called international trade. Then what is the reasons for international trade? Why should we look for another country? So, main purpose, one, the first reason is the rapid changes in technology or in the communication and the infrastructure. That is the one thing that led to open up our economy to the internet, to the globe. That is the one reason for international business, the rapid change in technology or the communication or infrastructure. That is the one factor that is for the reason for international trade. Then some other reasons, for example now, so one country they cannot produce all the product what they need. There is a one more reason. First reason, as I said, what is the first reason? Now when you come to country or any country in the globe, the rapid change in technology or in the communication or in the infrastructure, there is a one reason for international business or trade. One more reason, one country they cannot produce all the product what they need. There is a one more reason. What is the reason for that? Why can't they produce all the product what they need? Reason is simple. The resources are scattered or distributed all over the world. For example, today we want to produce the crude oil, but we don't have the resource for it. We don't have the natural resources. We have to import it from the other country. There is a reason. All the product what we need, we cannot produce it, then we have to import it. There is a one reason, one more reason for international trade. That is the second one. First one, the rapid change in technology or in the communication or the infrastructure. Second one, all the product what we need, it cannot be produced in the single country. Okay, we can looking for self-reliance, but it's very hard to get. We have to depend on other country, at least for few product. There's a one more reason. Some other reason is a capital. For production of some product that needs huge capital, huge money. If the economy is a capital intensive economy, then they have the huge money, they can produce any product. Some countries are labor intensive, they cannot put huge amount to produce some product. That time also we have to go for international trade. One more reason, the production cost. In some country, the production cost is very less. When you have the cost is very less involving in the production, automatically the prices comes down. That is the one more reason we are going to international trade. Then one more thing is the expertization. Some countries they are expert in producing some particular product or particular product. So they have grip on that, they have the edge, they have the competitive edge on that product. That is the one more reason for international trade. These are all some reasons for international trade. Maybe the rapid change in technology, communication or infrastructure, then one country cannot produce all the product what they need, then the reducing the production cost, then need of capital. One more thing is expertization. Some countries they have the grip, they have the edge on producing some sort of product. They are efficient in that. That's the reason. One more important reason is the time of 1991, it's all about our balance of payment. So we are facing the balance of payment deficit. We are facing the debt. We are under the trap of the crippling of the debt. We are the loan because of balance of payment deficit. What are the reasons for balance of payment deficit? Balance of payment deficit. That time our import was bigger than export. Import it was bigger than the export. Automatically that results in balance of payment deficit. We had huge debt. Then we approached IMF. IMF means International Monetary Fund for rising debt. Okay, listen to me carefully now. It's the one important reason for international trade or opening up for the international trade. That's the IMF. What's the story behind that? The time of 1991, we are facing the crippling debt or the loan. Result of the balance of payment deficit. What's the reason for balance of payment deficit? Our import was larger. We had huge amount of import item. Our import was high than export. Automatically that results in balance of payment deficit. Then balance of payment deficit, there is a reason for the debt. Then we approached IMF for raising the fund. IMF, International Monetary Fund, they agreed for the amount. They were ready to pay the debt or the loan. They were ready to pay the loan, but they put one condition. What was their condition? India has to go the structural changes in their economy. India has to go the structural change in the economy. So that India, that time we didn't have any option, then we agreed for it, then we opened up our economy, we liberalized our economy. There is one more reason for international trade. The conditions put by the IMF. Without any chance, then we agreed for the IMF's condition, then we liberalized our economy. We freed all the regulations. We welcomed all the international firms to come to India. Some Indian companies, they have gone for international market. There is one more reason for international business. Okay, that is the reasons for international business. First one, the rapid change in technology or communication or the infrastructure. Then second one, all the product cannot be produced in the single country, they have to go for other country. Then the reduction in the production cost, then expertization, then we have the what do you call capital. Some products are capital intensive, some products are labor intensive. The labor intensive products can be produced if the country has enough population and they have enough labor. But when you come to capital intensive product, we need huge money. That is one more reason. Then last reason was IMF. Okay, at the time of 1991, India was under huge debt because of balance of payment deficit. Then we approached IMF for raising fund, but IMF agreed for give the loan or give the fund, but they put on condition that India has to go for the structural changes. Then India, we liberalized our economy, we freed out all the rules and regulations. It is one more reason for international trade. Then next concept, the domestic versus international. What is the difference between the domestic business and international business? First one, nationality of buyers and sellers. In the internal business or in the domestic business, the nationality of buyers and sellers that belongs to one country, so that it is very easy to understand each other. So buyer belongs to one country, seller belongs to same country, they belongs to same country, then it is very easy to understand each other. But in international trade, the buyer belongs to one country, seller belongs to one more country, it is very difficult to come to an agreement or to the understanding. So that is the first difference between the domestic versus international trade. Change in nationality of buyers and seller, change in nationality of buyers and seller. Then we have nationality of stakeholders. Now who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders are the persons or the parties, they have the close contact with the company. For example, the general public or the government or the suppliers or the lenders. So they are the suppliers, the agent, they are all the stakeholders of company. In the internal trade, the stakeholders belongs to one country, but here in the domestic and when it comes to international trade, the nationality of stakeholders also that differs, that belongs to both the countries. Okay, that belongs to both the countries. There is a second difference between the domestic and international business. Then third one, mobility of factors of production. When it comes to mobility of factors of production, we need land, labor, capital for production of any product. But here in the internal trade, we can move labor and capital very easily. But in international trade, there is a huge regulations or the formality for the movement of capital and the labor. So there is a huge complex activity. So we cannot move the facts of production, especially labor and capital, to other country, to foreign country. It is the third difference between domestic and international trade. Then fourth one, customers heterogeneity in market. In a internal trade or in the domestic trade, the taste preference, the belief, customs, their sentiments, their food habit, their living standards, much or more same, more or less same in the internal trade, but that differs in the international trade. There is a heterogeneity, difference in opinion, difference in standard of living, difference in custom, different in belief, different in product preference. There is different, everything is different in the international trade, but same, there is a homogeneity in the internal trade. Then we have difference in practice and system of conducting business. Again, the system and the practice of business also same in internal trade, but it is different in international business. Okay, then next one, political system and risk. The political ideology, the types of government, the political system, then the risk. This is the one more factor in the international trade. When it comes to internal trade, so any buyer or seller, they can predict our government. We are well versed with the political party. If one party comes to power, what will be their vision or what will be their decisions on the business. But when you go to international trade, the company has to study the political system of a particular country. That is because the ideology is different. When you come to India, we have different political party. Each and every party's ideology is different. In the same way, when you go to international business, we have to study the political system, their ideology, their government formation, system, the government system, their political system, political ideology and risk. This is one more reasons for difference in international trade. Then business regulations and policy. So we have different monetary policy, different fiscal policy. When you come to India, we are well known about India's economic policy or the fiscal policy, monetary policy, taxation policy, then business policies. So we know, but when you go to outside, when you go to international trade, we have to study all the business regulations and policies. We know our Companies Act, we know what is the functions and regulations of SEBI, what is the functions of Commerce Department or Commerce Ministry. But we are well known about India's policy and regulations, but when you go to international trade, we have to study it. Then currency used in business, we use same currency in the domestic country. Buyer and seller, they use same currency in the domestic trade, but in the international trade, we have the different currency. There is one more difference between the internal trade and external trade or domestic and international trade. Okay, then one more concept is here, the scope of international business. First one, merchandise export and import, services export and import, then licensing and franchising, then we have foreign investment. I said two types of foreign investment, direct and portfolio investment, direct investment and portfolio investment. So first one, direct investment, second one portfolio investment. Portfolio investment, there are two types under foreign investment. Okay, now the first scope, merchandise export and import, it means export and import of goods, only tangible item. Export and import of goods, that is called merchandise export and import. So export and import of tangible items. So this is the first scope. Second one, services export and import, the import and export of services or the technology or the recreations or the restaurant is a services. That is a second scope, services export and import. We can import and export merchandise items, goods, tangible items as well as services. Then we have the licensing and franchising. Now what is the difference between licensing and franchising? So licensing means, so permitting to the other company to use their patent or the copyright, then from the view of producing the goods. That is what we call licensing. We use the word licensing only for the goods, only for the goods. For example, Pepsi or Coca-Cola, so they are given the permission for some bottling companies for sell their product, Coca-Cola or Pepsi. There is a licensing, giving permission to the other country's company to produce the goods under their patent or under their trademark or under their copyright. There is a licensing, giving license to the another country's company to produce the product in their trademark. Okay, then they get the royalty or they get the amount for it. There is a licensing, in simple term, giving permission to the another country's company to produce the product. For example, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, they are given the permission to India's companies or the bottle makers to produce the Pepsi or Coke, then sell it throughout India. There is a licensing, there is all about for goods or product. When you come to franchising, you might have seen McDonald's. Okay, it is again the giving permission to another country's company to produce the product. Here is not product, it is services, it is the hotels, McDonald's. Okay, that is a franchising. Then you have the foreign investment. As I said, two types of foreign investment, direct and portfolio investment. When you come direct investment, one country's company, for example, India's company, they go to Canada or America, they buy the land, equipment, raw materials, machines in the view of producing the product or for the manufacturing product, then sell there. That is what we call direct investment. Investment made directly. They purchase the land, they purchase the what do you call raw materials, equipment, machines, all the things. What's the purpose? Just to produce the goods there itself in the foreign country. That is called direct investment. When you come to portfolio investment, one of the India's company, they purchase the share of foreign country's company. For example, one of the Indian company, they go to America, they purchase share of their company, America's company, share of America's company. There is a portfolio investment, just acquiring the share, just purchase the share of another country's company, another country's company's share. That is a portfolio investment. When you come direct investment, directly purchase the land or equipment or machines from for the view of producing the product. When you come to portfolio investment, just acquire the share, just purchase the share of foreign company. That is the portfolio investment. Okay, this was the concept for today's class. We studied meaning for international business, reasons for international business, then difference between domestic and international business, then we studied scope of international business. Okay, in next class we will study what is the benefit of international trade to the country and to the company. Then we will study how to enter international trade. That means the mode of enter into international trade, the mode of enter into international trade, how to enter international trade. Thank you for watching. See you in the next class.